All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Danny, and today we're going to be exploring some rocks and minerals. So it should be a fun time. I have the website, my website over here on the very bottom. I'll take a look at that in just a bit, but feel free to use this website for your class because it's got lots of fun games for kids, activities, as well as some things that teachers can use, such as lesson plans and unit plans within. So I'll leave that link there. It should be also in the YouTube description. So if you just click on the description or the drop-down menu from the description in the YouTube link itself, just under the video, you should be able to see the link to that same website. So feel free to explore that on your own. So what we're going to be doing today, I'm just going to stop sharing this slide for now. I've got a few different activities and things that we're going to be looking at with rocks and minerals. So let's start off with our first one. So I'm going to try pinning the screen over here. So share screen, just give me a second. Okay. I'm going to pin this guy right here. All right. So in this video right here that you can see, we're going to be looking at the difference between rocks and minerals because that's very important. We're going to be looking at some rocks today. We're going to be doing some activities with minerals, and we need to know the difference. So this little activity will kind of show you what the difference is. So minerals are made up of just one thing. And I have a few different things here on the table. I have over here some venison, which is deer meat. This right here is a piece of the venison, and I've ground it up over here. I also have some dried currants. They're little berries and very delicious, sweet. They're kind of like mini raisins kind of thing. But it's a dried fruit, very similar to a raisin, but raisins are made out of grapes. This is made out of a wild currant, which is a plant that's all throughout Canada. And last but not least, I have another thing over here. And this right here is duck fat. So I have duck fat, I have venison, and I have dried currants. Now, each of these things are their own unique thing. So let's pretend that they're minerals. Minerals, as I mentioned, are made up of one thing, and we have three different things over here on the cutting board. Now, if we put them all together, we can make a rock, or even two of the things together. Like if we get some of the venison and we mix it with some of the currant berries here, and we mix it together and kind of pack it together like that, it will make a rock. A rock is made up of more than one thing. So if it's made up of two or more minerals, it is a rock. So let's mix all of them together. Now, traditionally, the Cree would mix all of these things together and make something called pemmican. And it was kind of like a great food that lasted a long time because it's made out of dried meat, dried things, so it didn't really rot. So we're going to mix it all together, and the duck fat is going to be kind of like the glue holding it all together. So let's add all this stuff in. Let's add the meat first. So we'll put the meat inside here, and a little more meat, I think. There we go. If we need some more after, we can do that. I'm going to use a spoon over here because otherwise my hands are going to be really not so good for this. So it's still a little bit liquidy. I'm going to add a little bit more of the meat into it. There we go. That's pretty good. And let's add some berries. Some of these dried currants. Awesome. All right. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to add just a tad more meat because it's a little bit on the soft side for my tastes over here. All right, that's pretty good. So this right here is pemmican. So this would now be considered a rock because it is made up of more than one thing, as you can see over here. Let me show you a closer look here. Made up of more than one thing. And you can even see the different components of it. You can see the meat, the duck fat is glossy, and we also have those berries that are the darker colored things inside that pemmican. So I'm going to try it out here. And here you can maybe see on the other screen, I'm going to try some of this and see how it is. Hey, not bad. I like the very meaty flavor to it. The duck fat is very rich, but what I like about it is the sweet currants inside. Really delicious. So that right there is pemmican. It's a traditional food of the Cree, and they use different things. It wasn't always deer meat that was used. Things such as bison or moose were also used for this as well. And it wasn't just dried currants either. Any kind of dried berries works, including Saskatoon berries. And yeah, same with the fat too. All right, so now that we know the difference between a rock and a mineral, we can kind of do a little guessing game over here. I've got a couple of things that I want you to guess whether they're rocks or minerals. So let's start with this one right here. So I want you to guess, is this a rock or a mineral? It's made up of one thing or more than one thing. Well, this right here is a mineral. So if you guessed mineral, you are correct, and it is made up of just one thing. How about this one here? Rock or a mineral? What do you think? If you guessed rock for this one, you are correct. And you can actually see two different kinds of minerals in here. We're going to go through that afterwards in just a bit. All right, one last one here. Which one should I choose? Let's choose this one right here. Rock or mineral? If you guess mineral, you are correct. And this is made up of just one thing. In this case, this is fluoride. All right, so let's get this out of the way over here. And I'm going to show you some of my mineral collection over here. All right. So I have a whole bunch of different minerals here, but don't be confused. I'm going to show you them groups at a time. But before I do that, let me show you these ones here. Actually, this might actually benefit from a black background, just because it is, they're all fairly clearish. Now, you'll notice all these minerals here. These are all different minerals, but they look kind of the same-ish. They're all kind of clearish looking, but there are some differences that tell us and indicate to us that these are different minerals. I want you to think about what those might be. Same with these over here. All of these, I'm going to put this on the white background. All of these are kind of darker minerals, almost black kind of coloring, some of them a little bit silvery, but all of these are different minerals, completely different minerals. So color, although sometimes it's a good indicator, is not the best. And the reason why is because all these are black and all these are kind of clearish. And they're obviously not the same mineral. Well, not quite obviously, but they're not the same mineral. So how can we tell these minerals apart? Well, there's different ways we can do that. One of the ways is a streak test. So I have something over here that you can actually streak the minerals across, and it'll kind of show what color it streaks. Now, you'd expect something like this black mineral, like this one over here, to streak a black color because it looks black. But if we take a look over here, I'm going to do it on the lighter one. Doesn't show up black. Let's go on the black sandpaper. You can use sandpaper for this at home if you have that. Or you can use some tiles as well. Don't use tiles that are on the ground already. But sandpaper I find works really, really well. And you can get sandpaper in different colors too. And if you look over here, once we streak this black mineral, it streaks white. So that indicates that this mineral streaks white. It is a unique mineral. Let's compare it to this one over here. So this is another black mineral. Let's try streaking it against the light one. Oh, wow, look at that. This one does streak black. So you'll notice that this one here and this one here are completely different minerals. And that makes sense. I mean, if you look at them, one of them is kind of smooth and polished, and this other one has a unique crystal shape to it. It's got lines going down and up, which is really, really different than this other mineral, which is smooth and does not have those lines. I also have a couple other minerals. So let's try these out as well. So this one here, I'm going to do a streak test. This one is a little bit different. You'll notice the color is kind of like a rusty brown color. So this one streaks a completely different color, even though it's kind of that black darkish color. And it's a little bit silvery compared to this round one. They're both roundish, but this one's kind of silvery. This one's more jet black. And we have this one here. This one's kind of rocky and bumpy. Kind of has, I don't know, it's flat on this side, and kind of flat on this side, but it's got some bumps and ridges. Let's see if this one streaks a different color. Doesn't show up here and shows up as white here. So you can tell these are different minerals here. Let's do one last one here. This is another fifth of our black minerals. This one has a different shape altogether. This one you can see is kind of like layers, like pancakes put together. And let's see what color this one does. Ooh. This one streaks a golden color. You can kind of see a gold color over here. Much different than our brownish one from before, and definitely different from these two white ones. So that we just showed two different things that you can use to tell minerals apart. First one being the streak test. And another one that you can use other than obviously color is you can use the shape as well. So the different cleavage and fracture, as it's called, if it breaks apart in a certain way, like this one will break apart into sheets. This one here, you see has these like really cool lines going through. That kind of indicates to us that they're different minerals. So those are some of the tests you can use. There's also another test you can use as well, and that's the hardness test to see how hard it is. That's a good one for ones like this and like this and like these ones. We can actually see if it scratches a fingernail or not. If it scratches a fingernail, that means it's harder than a 2. If it scratches glass, it's harder than a 6.5. So we can use the hardness test to see if they're different minerals. Like we have these two minerals right here, or actually, you know what, I'm going to use these two. So we can tell if these are different by trying to scratch glass. So if I scratch the glass, oh yes, it does scratch. You'll notice that we've made really deep impressions here, and I can actually feel it. That is scraped on the glass itself, and you could probably hear it as well. Now I'm going to try this one here. It did not see, it's not scraping or digging in here. It's kind of riding on top or skating on top like you would on a skating rink. So this one here we can tell is different than this one. Let's see if it scratches a fingernail. See, it won't even scratch my fingernail. There are no marks on my fingernail right now. But let's try this other one that we tried before. This one does scratch my fingernail. I don't know if you can see there, but it made 2 big scratches across my fingernail. So we know this one is definitely harder than glass. And this one here is softer than a fingernail. Pretty cool. So that's yet another test you can use. There's some other ones you can use as well. Like magnetism, see if it's magnetic, or some other tests like smell tests. I don't recommend tasting rocks and minerals because there could be some things in there, but sometimes Some mineralogists will use that test, but I don't recommend it. All right, let's look through some common minerals. And I'm going to show you the first mineral here that we're going to be looking at. That is this one right here. This is quartz. This is amethyst, which is a type of quartz, kind of this purplish color, sometimes comes in blue. And this one here is an orange version called citrine. It is quartz as well. Sometimes quartz is rounded. This is probably a very common form in gemstones and things like that. You'll find rounded quartz of different colors. And there's even the rose variety. This is kind of, it's hard to tell over here, but it is kind of rose in hue. And this one here is just your normal kind of crystallized quartz. It sometimes comes in crystal form. Sometimes you'll find it just like this. It just fractures. There's no real kind of shape to it sometimes. It really depends how it forms. But all those are quartz. And you can see that's why color is not the best thing to use when finding out what minerals are which. So that's quartz. I've got another one over here that we're going to be taking a look at. This one here is another common mineral. This is calcite. Now this is calcite. This is calcite. That's calcite. And one of the ones that we saw before, this one here is calcite. So all of these are calcite. The way we can tell that they're calcite, well, hardness, it kind of has a soapy feel to it. And also the shape. You'll notice over here, it's not a perfect square. It is a parallelogram over here that it creates. And it's a very specific angle over here. And you'll notice we can actually stack these together because they, oops, I have to put it in the right order here. They will stack together because they're all the exact same angle. So let me stack this one as well. Oh, it's on this side. So they'll all stack together because they are all the same mineral and they all have the exact same angle. So this right here, calcite, you got another one. So we have quartz, we have calcite. This is another very common one. Usually you'll see sparkles in many rocks and minerals around where you live. It's probably this one over here because it's kind of shiny and sparkly and comes off into layers and flakes. And this one here is called mica, another very common mineral you'll find in many of our rocks. So mica, thin sheets, and we notice that it streaks a golden color. This one right here where my thumb is. So that's our third common mineral here. Another one is feldspar. So all these are feldspar. This one right here is kind of a whitish one, common. This one I would say is more common in our granites and gneiss that we have. Nice. And this one right here has a specific angle as well that it has. And they kind of fit together as well. This one is labradorite. It is a type of feldspar as well. Pretty cool. I really love the look of this one. And yeah, all these three are feldspars. And these two you're most likely to find here in Ontario. Another very common mineral that you'll find in many of our rocks. All right, let's see. Should we do one more here? Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few other minerals that are around. This is fluorite, which is really cool. This one here is kind of the common form that you'll find. Is kind of a purplish, clearish version. There's also this kind of emerald looking fluorite as well. They're pretty cool and they're fluorescent. I would actually show you some fluorescent minerals over here, but it's a bit too light out. I don't have a dark space, but some minerals do fluoresce. So if you get a fluorescent light or black light, you can actually kind of tell some minerals apart that way. This is one of those ones that you can potentially tell. Ruby is another one which I do have as well. Anyways, those are some common minerals. We have the mica. We have the feldspars, we have calcite, and we also have our quartz. Quartz is one of the most common minerals in the world, so you're more likely to find quartz around or have it in around the local area. All right, so that's minerals right here. We're gonna go into rocks. So now that we learned about some of the common rock-forming minerals, we're going to be exploring some rocks. And I want you to be professionals at identifying some different types of rocks that we have over here. So while I get this ready here, I'm going to share my screen here and show something that I created that will help you to identify some of the rocks here. So oops, come on, there we go. This is the rock ID chart that I have. And the rock ID chart is awesome because, and this is on my website as well if you want to use that. It's a great one because it kind of goes through the 3 different rock types, and also the most important one is what to look for. So for sedimentary rocks, basically in around this area, and it works really well for Ontario, for sedimentary rocks, if you find anything that's kind of a boring mud color, it is a sedimentary rock. And it's the only rock type that has fossils. So that's pretty special. There's also igneous rocks that we have over here. Most of them are intrusive, meaning they were formed below the surface of the earth. Basically, what you're looking for are sparkles or colors of fire. So really, really vibrant colors that you're looking for, high contrast. But the sparkles are the big giveaway for igneous rocks in around this area. And the last type is metamorphic rocks. So rocks that have been changed through heat or pressure, mainly igneous and sedimentary rocks that have been changed by those things. And what you're looking for are either sparkly colored layers or bands, bands is the proper term, or crystal formation that has happened. Because usually when crystals have formed, that means some sort of heat, pressure, or change has happened. So those are the 3 types: sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. So I want you to guess which ones are which, and I'm going to leave this kind of chart up. And I want, or actually, before we guess these things, I'm going to go through some very common ones that you might find here in Ontario, because that way you can kind of get your eyes used to it. And but remember these things: sedimentary, boring mud color; igneous, sparkles; and metamorphic, you're looking for sparkles, but also those bands or layers and or crystals. But yes, those are the 3 things that you're going to be looking for. All right, I'm going to stop sharing the screen right here, and we're going to go back to the video. All right, so I'm going to clear out a little space over here. Let's go through the very first rock type, which is sedimentary. So sedimentary rocks, boring, mud color, but they're far from boring because they are really, really cool rocks. So let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see how awesome they are. All right, so this one is a typical limestone that you'd find. I actually found this in the city of Toronto, and you can find a lot of rocks as long as they're in public areas and they're not too big. It's okay to take one if it's not too big and that kind of thing, but you may find a whole bunch of fossils in here. And in this case, this limestone has some fossils. There's some shells in here, bivalves actually, that are embedded in this particular limestone rock. So really cool. The sedimentary rocks, even though they're that boring mud color, they're so exciting because they're the only rock type that has fossils. This is another very common one you might find. This is chert. Which is really cool. It kind of breaks off in flakes, and many indigenous peoples of the past used this to make arrowheads and all sorts of other really cool sharp tools because it flakes off and makes very, very sharp things. You can also make fire with this if you have a steel like this. Now this is not sharp enough, or else I'd show you. It would make some sparks if it is sharp enough, but it's kind of I've got to break it with a hammer to do that. And this is shale, another type of sedimentary rock. And you can see a boring mud color, but kind of flakes off, and you'll notice there are some kind of layers in here, but it's not sparkly. Let me see if I can get the focus on over here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Anyways, there's some layers within this, because this was at the bottom of the seabed about 450 million years ago, and all the sediment was deposited on the bottom of a shallow sea and turned into rock. Anyways, so these are the three very common ones that you'll find here in Ontario. Now, I'm going to show you some really cool fossils that I've collected over the years. Some of them have been collected here in Ontario. Others have been collected around the world. So let me show you some of those. All right. These are my first ones over here. These are crinoids. They're a type of kind of like a almost like a squid type thing. And one of them was collected, this one here, the longer of the two, was collected here in Ontario. This one here was collected in Scotland. So Scotland has fossils as well. And this one here, actually, the Ontario one is actually older, which is pretty neat. But you can see a couple different forms. So squid type creature, pretty cool. This one here is another one that I found here in Ontario. And there's some more bivalves and sea creatures in this one. There's also some corals as well. So it's kind of a mixture of all sorts of things. So you can find quite a bit of things over here in Ontario, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Over in Scotland, I also found some more things. So these right here are ammonites, and these are ammonite fossils. And it was a sea creature as well, kind of like a rounded shell, and had this little kind of tentacles coming out the end, and would grab fish and eat them. This is a baby one, and this is a much bigger one, but I only got part of it. So this baby one is really, really cool. It's the full thing, but this one here is just a part of it. Some of the biggest ammonites are bigger than a human, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is an ammonite. Also, over in Scotland, I collected this. These are some shells, as you can see over here. Pretty neat as well. What else do I have? This is another cool one. I did not collect this one. This was given to me by a friend. This one here is a megalodon tooth. Giant shark, huge, huge one. I think they're around something along the lines of 30,000 years ago, in around that range. But very sharp, huge tooth, really cool. And it's a fossil as well. Was found in limestone. What else do I have? This is one of the oldest fossils I have. This is in the billions of years old kind of fossil. This is fossilized bacteria. You might think, oh, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, this is actually bacterial growths over here that have been fossilized. Pretty neat. So this one's in the billions of years old, which is neat. I also have some other ones I collected. This is fossilized trees, which is pretty neat. This I found over in Arizona. And in Utah, when I collected a few years back, this is actually a theropod leg bone, dinosaur bone. Pretty cool. Speaking of dinosaurs, this is not one I collected, but one my sister actually brought from me over from Morocco is this right here. This is a tooth of a mosasaur, which is a dinosaur that used to go in the water. It used to be able to swim, and this is the tooth from that. Kind of looks like a claw or something like that, but it is a tooth. So pretty neat. And it is in sandstone, which is not very common over here in Ontario. And you won't find dinosaurs here because most of our, I'm talking about it here in Ontario, because most of our rock that's underneath us in Toronto and area is 450 million years old. So that is older than the dinosaurs. So that's why we are able to find fossils here. But we can only find fossils of that time period, which is mostly sea creatures and things like that, because we used to be under a sea over here. All right, so these are all sedimentary rocks. As you can see, they're boring mud color, but they're far from boring. But that's how you can tell if it's a sedimentary rock, is if it's that kind of boring mud color. No sparkles you'll see over here, nothing at all. And it works for the rocks that you'll find in around this area. So that's how you can tell a sedimentary rock. All right, let's, I'm just putting these away for now safely so that they don't get chipped. All right, our next rock type is igneous. Igneous means fire, and that makes sense because they're very, very, very vibrant in color. Lots of reds, blacks, whites, really cool. Now, you'll notice that I have some sunlight coming over here. Maybe if I go into the sunlight, but these sparkle very well. Even in the shade, they will sparkle as well. You can kind of see the sparkliness coming from all these minerals. This one here, a little bit harder to see the sparkles, but they are there. If I put it in the sun, you can definitely see, oops, yeah, let me see if I can show you the sparkles. I can see it sparkling. I'll have to show you later on over there, but definitely sparkly. You can see the different minerals inside over here, and you can actually tell what those minerals are. Now, let me get those minerals for you. 1, 2, and 3. So you may remember these minerals from before. We have quartz, which is the white mineral inside over here. We have feldspar, which is this pink one. And we have the mica, which is that black one I showed you from the very beginning. So if you combine all 3 of these minerals together, you will get this igneous rock, which is granite. Really cool. And you can see that mica over here, that black one. The white that you can see over here is that quartz, and the potassium feldspar is that pink stuff that's all throughout here. Same with this one here. We have the mica, we have the white, which is the quartz, and we also have the pink, which is the feldspar. So it has this one has all 3 minerals as well. So that's pretty cool. But there's also other types of igneous rocks as well. This one here is an igneous rock. It's actually a slice from a rock very similar to this, but you can see this one has just the 2. It doesn't have any of that feldspar that we saw before. It has just the 2 minerals. In this case, quartz, and not quite mica because it's a little bit different than that. It's hornblende, which is this mineral here. So this one has got 2 types of minerals in it, but it's still a rock because there's more than 1 mineral. All right, and this is kind of a slice. You can see those 2 minerals kind of scattered randomly throughout it, kind of evenly throughout as well. So you see that quartz and you see that hornblende in there. There are some other types of igneous rocks. This one here, these 2 are obsidian, volcanic glass. You will not find it around here. You'll see this very glossy and all that. But yes, these 2 are obsidian. This is kind of a reddish obsidian or kind of copper colored. This is the traditional black obsidian that very common and easy to find, but you can see why it was used for things like arrowheads or things like that. And the indigenous nations around here, the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, they would trade via the Ottawa for these things because this was common in other nations a little bit further west of here. All right. Also, rocks and minerals were used for things like tomahawks as well. So not just bow and arrows, spears, but also for the heads of tomahawks as well. Pretty cool. Anyways, that's igneous rocks. So that's cool. What you're looking for igneous rocks are sparkles. So if it's sparkly, you know you have an igneous rock. All right, last rock type, and we'll do a little test before we go out. Last rock type is metamorphic. So we have our metamorphic rocks right here. Basically, we're looking for sparkly layers. So this right here is our igneous rock. And what happens with a lot of heat and pressure, all those minerals, I can't do it with my hands. It needs a lot more than that. But all those minerals will make kind of bands because they've been melted. And this one right here would turn into this metamorphic rock, which is nice. It's GNIESS. So nice. And this is another example of that. This one has all three of those minerals I told you about earlier. So you can see the pink at the bottom. That's potassium feldspar. We've got the mica in between, and we also have the quartz, and you can see that pink, or sorry, the white band over here. That's the quartz. So it has all three of those minerals in here. It's basically this one here that's been melted and turns into all these layers. Cool. So, or bands, I should say. So this one right here, metamorphic, it's very sparkly. So you can even see some of those sparkles in the sun right now. And also you can see the bands going across. All right, so that's good. Let's do a little test over here and see if you can get the right answer. So I've got a mystery box of different ones here, and you need to tell me whether it's sedimentary, igneous, or metamorphic. So you can follow along with your hands over here. So if you think it's sedimentary, all right, you're going to make, whoops, let me back up a bit so you can actually see my hands properly here. There we go. If you think it's sedimentary, go like this, because sedimentary is made by ocean. Most of the time is made by the ocean around here, and the sediments floating down to the bottom of the ocean. So make an ocean like this if you think it's sedimentary. If you think it's igneous, go like this. Fire, right? Igneous means fire. And if you think it's metamorphic, go like this. Heat and pressure. So try putting your hands together like this, and if you think it's metamorphic, you can do that. All right, so let's test it out. I'm going to try this one right here, this rock right here. What do you think it is? Do you think it's sedimentary? Do you think it's igneous? Or do you think it's metamorphic? And you can do your symbols. Remember, sedimentary, igneous, or metamorphic. I'll give you a hint. There's some sparkles over here. If you said igneous and you went like this, you are correct. This is a igneous rock. You can tell by sparkles, there's some mica in there. So that's one of them. All right, let's do another one here. What do you think this one is? I'll tell you if it's sparkly or not. It is sparkling in the sun. You can kind of see the sparkles here. Yeah, definitely sparkles in the sun over here. So it is sparkly, and it's got some lines on it. What do you think it might be? If you said metamorphic and your hands are like this, you are correct. This is a metamorphic rock. This is nice. And let's do another one over here. What do we have? Let's do this one here. What do you think it is? I don't see any sparkles on this one. If you said sedimentary and did this right here, you are correct. This is a sedimentary rock. You can tell because it's boring mud color. There are fossils in this one though, but it is still that boring mud color. There are no sparkles whatsoever. So must be a sedimentary rock. All right, last one here. I think I might do a trickier one here. See if you can get it. All right, this one right here. What do you think this one is? And you can definitely see all those sparkles over here, but I don't see any lines whatsoever. So what do you think it might be? If you said igneous, you are correct. All right, friends. So let's go outside. I want you to meet my dog Yoda, and he's pretty awesome. He can identify rocks as well. So just follow me, and should be a good time. All right. I'm just going to turn off the video here and follow me downstairs. So Yoda is a Papillon. He's around 10 years old. And yeah, he loves rocks. Most dogs like to play with things like sticks and twigs and all that, but not Yoda. Yoda loves rocks, and he's loved rocks since he was a little puppy, baby Yoda, you might say. So here, I'm going to show you Yoda. I'm going to switch the camera view, and we're going to head on outside. Are you ready for rocks? Yes, you are. All right. He's ready to go outside and play with some rocks and minerals right now. So I'm going to get my boots on. Oh, he's very excited. And once I have my boots on, we'll go outside. And oh, he knows the word outside as well. He knows the words sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic too. So should be good. All right, I got my boots on, getting my jacket on. And oh, he's very excited. He knows, he heard the word rocks, and now he is ready to go outside and play with them. All right. Okay, mister. All right, so here we are. We have Yoda. I'm gonna get 3 rocks for him. All right. Okay. So, all right, so I have 3 rocks here. I have an igneous rock. This is the same one from upstairs. I have a sedimentary rock, boring mud color, and I also have this metamorphic one with the line through it. Hey, Yoda, come here. Yo, back up. Sit. All right. So, oh, no. Hey, stop. All right. I'm going to show him all the rocks. Back up. Hey, back up. Hey, Yoda, back up. Sit. Oh, he's very excited. All right, Yoda, sedimentary. Hey, listen. Hey, sit. No, back up. Sit. Good boy. Sedimentary, Yoda. Sedimentary. So I've got all 3 rocks over here. Sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic. And sedimentary rock is right here. We're going to go, no, back up. Yoda, sedimentary. Okay. Oh, look, he got the sedimentary one. He's looked at the igneous and he's like, nope, that's not the one. Sedimentary is the one he chose. So look at that. He got the sedimentary one. All right. Let's see if he can do this again. All right. Oh, see, he really loves the rocks over here. He licks them, and it's his favorite thing. All right, let's see if he'll do another one over here. So I'm going to grab this right now. All right, Mr. Yoda. All right, let's reset. All right. All right, so I have another metamorphic rock here. We've got another igneous, and we've got our sedimentary over here. All right, Yoda. Hey, back up. Okay. So I'm going to set all these out. Yoda, metamorphic. So we have our metamorphic we have our igneous. Oh, look at that. See, I didn't even have to say go. He went for the metamorphic. There we go. All right, you can see he's loving his metamorphic rock over here. So we'll do one more over here. All right, back up. Hey, back up. Back up. All right, so we have another metamorphic rock. We have our igneous and our sedimentary. Let's see which one he'll go for. Let's try sedimentary again. Hey, Yoda, sedimentary. Go, get it. Oh, see, he's licking the sedimentary rock right now. There we go. Awesome. All right, there we go. So Yoda can identify rocks. If he can do it, you can do it. So I'm going to just set these up on here, and he'll find another rock to play around with. Go get your rock. In the meantime, let's identify some rocks that are around here. I have a rock poking out of the snow right here. What do you think this is? I'll tell you right now, there's no sparkles. No sparkles whatsoever. What do you think it is? This is a sedimentary rock. It's boring mud color, no sparkles whatsoever. This is a piece of limestone, which is the bedrock that should be underneath where you are. The bedrock where I'm at is a little bit different, and we're going to find out what that is. That limestone was brought, where Yoda is over there, was brought to here from a little bit south where you are. But if we look at the bedrock that's over here, it actually sticks up in places in different areas around my property. This is called the Canadian Shield, and it's pretty cool. We're going to see what it is and what it's made out of. So let me go try a different one over here that's a little bit easier to see. Oh, this one's a good one. All right. So what do you think this is? It does sparkle for sure. And you'll see some different colors over here as well. There's some pink, some black, some white speckles, but there's a pink line going through this. So what do you think it is? Any guesses? If you said metamorphic, you're correct. This is a piece of gneiss. This is actually not a piece, I should say. This is bedrock of gneiss. That's what I have sticking out of the my land over here. Down where you are, you have sedimentary rocks as part of your bedrock. I have metamorphic around here, as well as a little bit mixed. If you go a little bit east, the bedrock is actually granite of where I'm at. But let's take a look at this one here, see if this is any different. This is not bedrock. This is actually just a rock that was dropped off over here. But I want you to guess what this one is. It does sparkle. You can see some really nice sparkles from the sun here. And also, you'll see some lines going across as well. So, what do you think this is? You said metamorphic again? You are correct. This is a metamorphic rock as well, but it's a little bit different. This one's got a little bit different composition of minerals in this one. And I've got one last one over here. This is another smaller rock, not part of the bedrock. I want you to see what this one is. Let me see if I can get some more sun. Oh, there we go. There we go. So what do you think this is? A little bit harder to see with this one, but put a little bit of water on here. You might be able to see it a little bit better. So for this one, definitely some sparkles coming off that sun. Also, I don't see any lines on this particular one. It's kind of some random minerals scattered throughout, but it is sparkly. So which one do you think this one is? Any guesses? This is an igneous rock. So if you said igneous, you are correct. So I have all three rock types here on my at my house, which is really cool. I have gneiss as part of the bedrock. I've got also some granite over here. This is a granite boulder. And I also have some limestone that was brought in from down south where you are. There is some natural limestone around, but it's kind of buried with all the snow. Oh, looks like Yoda found a rock. Go get your rock. Go get your rock. He'll actually build snowman if there is enough snow, or I should say the proper type of snow. Even look at if you look at my house, it's made out of stone as well. This right here is, as you can probably tell, it's a boring mud color. This right here is made out of sedimentary rock, which is pretty cool. So lots of different types of rocks around if you take a close look, but hopefully you can tell different rocks apart just like Yoda did, just by taking a look at them and seeing what they are made out of. If they are a boring mud color, it's a sedimentary rock. If it's a sparkly one, it's igneous. If there's a lot of heat and pressure, Yoda's found his rock over here. If there's a lot of heat and pressure and you see sparkles and bands, that means it is a metamorphic rock. Now let's see what rock Yoda has found. It looks like he's found something. Where's your rock? Where is it? Go get it. Go get it. He found something over here. Definitely found a rock. Go get it. Where is it? Where's your rock? Oh, there it is. Oh, all right. Yoda's waiting in anticipation here. Let's see what kind of rock do you think this is? This this right here is boring mud color. This is a sedimentary rock. Oh, he wants it. All right. Ready? Ready? Go get it. Yeah, he fetches rocks. He loves rocks. He will find it. If I threw that in a pile of all sorts of other rocks, you'd find that specific one. It's really cool. So he's digging for it now. He loves doing this stuff. I don't know why, but you know what? I'm rolling with it, and it's great because he's enjoying himself, aren't you? Where's your rock? Go get your rock. Yeah, he'll dig down. All right. Anyways, so hopefully you learned a lot about rocks and minerals. I highly suggest you take a look at my website. The website is super awesome. It's got some rock related games in it. It's got some lesson plans, really fun activities. I've scoured the internet for all sorts of relevant stuff that you can actually take a look through, and should be awesome. If there's anything else that you need from me, let me know, or anything that you think should be added to the website, let me know, and can definitely add it for you. So hopefully you've enjoyed the program today, and if you have any questions or requests, feel free to reach out to me.